Hello, everyone. This is Aditya Mehta, and you are listening to podcast on personality development. And I welcome you all to the season finale of this new season, that is Boost Your Productivity. And as always, in today's episode, throughout the season, as she has, we have Elena Pastore with us, and she has really added some great values in productivity for all of us. And this is the final episode. So, firstly, a huge thank you to Elena Pastore for adding so much value in productivity for all of us. So, a huge appreciation. I don't know if I can give you something right from the Zoom call, but you have done a great job. So thank you so much, Alina, for doing that.
Of course, I'm happy to be here and excited to round out the season.
Wonderful. So, audience, before we start the show, let me tell you one more time that now you can ask questions directly to the experts of this show. How? You just have to join the WhatsApp community of this podcast and you can post your questions over there. And I'm going to ask those questions on behalf of you. So make sure to do that. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Hello and welcome back to today's episode. As I've already mentioned, today's episode is the season finale of this amazing season that is Boost Your Productivity. And today's episode is on the topic of the social media impact on our productivity. And to guide us with that, we have Elena Pastore, who has been a wonderful expert on this entire season. So, hello, Elena. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you?
Amazing. Every time it's super energetic to talk to you, and I'm just happy and sad at the same time that you are going, like, this is the season finale, and then there will be other guests as well. But you have to promise me that you're going to come back on this podcast and add more values in the lives of the audience, because they are really excited when you are on this particular show. So I really hope that you would come back on the show whenever I call you.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
Wonderful. So, Elena, let's straight dive into the topic. And this is season finale. I'm really excited. And this is one topic which I'm really excited to talk about it as well. So, it is all about social media impact on productivity. What are your initial thoughts on it?
So, I do think social media gets a reputation as being a hindrance to productivity and being a big distraction. So, there are a couple of thoughts that I have on this. The first thing is that I believe social media is a vehicle for distraction. So, if we didn't use social media to distract ourselves or to prevent us from being productive, it would be something else, whether it was TV or the news or, whatever it is. If we're in a state where we're susceptible to being distracted and to not being productive, I believe social media is just one of those ways. Although, since everybody is very tied to their phones and tied to the internet, I think that's why everybody kind of uses it as the default problem or default reason. Then there are some things about social media specifically as a distraction. So if we're looking at all of the possible distractions being the news, TV, social media specifically does have a lot of things that can be very toxic and can possibly more deeply negatively affect us or negatively influence us than maybe the other distractions. So I don't think it's that social media in itself is the problem for productivity. I think it's that distractions are the problem. Social media is one, and then social media specifically as a distraction can have those other negative effects on, self-worth and mindset and all of that. So it's a pretty complex beast to me.
Yes, definitely. And so, as there are a lot of short form contents over there, okay, like, the entire story is getting narrated in less than a minute sometimes. Most of the times when we watch those 60 reels on Instagram, okay, that means 1 hour entirely gets wasted and we don't even realize it. Okay, because it's,
Mhm.
slowly consuming our time. It's not like a movie which, directly consumes our time. Like it's 3 hours and we are mentally prepared for it as well, that 3 hours I'm going to give to this movie to freshen up. Okay, but when we turn towards Instagram or maybe TikTok, not in India, but of course it's available in America, okay, and many other short form contents, social media. So over there it becomes a big problem for most of the people when they don't know how much time they are spending on the social media platforms and how much they are getting influenced by it, because it's not about the time you spent on Instagram or TikTok, but it's also about the time we waste after that, because as you correctly mentioned, that we are getting negatively influenced and we also question our self-worth, and we tend to go in overthinking as well. So, what is that one thing? And that's going to be my first question as well. What do you think that with all these social media platform around, how can you really save yourself from stopping those social media platforms to consume your time?
Yeah, I do think it's hard. And I think the platforms make it hard in a way because they want you to stay on there and use your time on their platforms. I've heard of a lot of people that set I don't know if it's an external app, but you can set a block for yourself. So you can say, I only want to spend 10 minutes a day, and then it shuts you out. And I haven't tried it, but from people that I do know that have tried it, they've said that it works pretty well. The only downfall to that is if you allot yourself, let's say, 30 minutes a day, and maybe you go on for 10 minutes in the morning, but then you pick it up and go on for another 10 minutes in the afternoon, you're still picking it up and going on and getting distracted. So, it could possibly prevent you from being less productive, but it's not necessarily going to make you more productive, if that difference makes sense.
Yeah, of
Do you
course. I
see what
mean,
I mean there?
yes, yes, definitely. Because instead of spending the entire 1.5 hour, people might just spend 30 minutes on that particular platform, and that's completely understandable. At least they are saving another 1 hour. So I believe that's one thing which is really working out for a lot of people. But I have some experiences as well. So many of my friends have tried that. Personally, I have tried that and it has worked for me really well. So I only allot myself like 10 minutes in a day to go on any platform, okay, and look who, like, my what my connections are doing. I only check that and then I get out of that platform, and or sometimes Instagram, sometimes my mobile shuts the application all by itself, saying that your 10 minutes are over, and then the entire day you are not allowed to open that app. But some of my friends, what they have done is they also have the option to disable it afterwards. Okay, so they tried it, okay, for like 1 day or maybe couple of days, and then the application or the settings, they provide you the extension as well, which says that you can extend your time. So the entire thing comes to the same thing again, although like users have to do a lot of hard work to do that, because there is an extra step which they need to perform. But later on they feel, I mean, I'm always extending, so let's just turn it off. So I believe that's one thing which
Mhm.
has happened with my friends. So what do you think that it should there be a mindset shift for the people who really want to grow in their life, and that they should be having that mindset of not wasting time on social media platforms, but at the same time they need to be more productive by removing the distraction or decreasing the distraction which they are facing through social media platform?
Yeah, so you not only want to remove the distraction, but you want to also say, what's going to help me be more productive?
Hmm.
So removing the distraction might take you from negative to zero, but then what's going to put you in the positive? So
Hmm.
you need to look at it from both sides.
Right.
I mean, for me, if I do feel that I'm getting very distracted, I will put my phone in another room, or I'll put it at the opposite side of the room so it's not in arm's length. Although, if I really don't want to do whatever it is that I want to do, again, I'm going to find something else to distract me, whether it's paying my bills or it could be anything. It could still be something productive, even.
Right.
Um, but again, I really want to emphasize that yes, social media is a big problem. And when we eliminate it or figure out how to reduce its negative influence on us, what are we going to do to keep moving ourselves into the positive and to actually become productive rather than just being neutral?
Right. That's an amazing thing which you said over there. And I believe sometimes these social media apps, they leave a pretty good impact on your mind as well. So
Mm-hmm.
when I used to work from home, I do know that there was at least 4 or 5 hours, okay, I spent on Instagram, and that I didn't found out until and unless my one of my cousin or one of my sibling came to me and said, let's check how much amount of time you spend on social media platforms. And they actually went into my settings, and then there were 4 hours and 45 minutes. I'm like, damn, I haven't used that much. I'm like, your mobile is not going to lie. Okay. So, it it doesn't even
Yep.
look, it doesn't even bother us to spend those 4.5 hours, because we don't even realize that we are spending that much amount of time on the social media platforms. Okay. So
Yep.
it becomes really difficult. And I believe I saw this amazing movie on Netflix. It's a documentary movie. I forgot its name, but it was all about social media. I'm really good with names, but I forgot this one. Yeah, it's a social media dilemma. Okay, which says
Oh,
that they really want you to make sure that you go on those social media platforms. So sometimes they give you notifications as well. Okay, and I believe because of notifications, I again went back over there. Okay, I again went back to the application. Okay, because when some of the person which you like the most, okay, or some of the person who has like a blue tick and they have liked your post, you tend to go over there and find out like who is he or who is she, right? Because and then let's say if your crush has posted a story, and then they will put a Instagram story over there, and then they will give you a notification. You tend to go over there, and once you get into the application, it's like a black hole in the universe. You are just getting pulled into that. So I
yep.
believe personally that the notifications should also be turned off. Okay, so that it can really stop you to go into the Instagram. And the other thing which you mentioned, and it I believe this, I always do, like if I want to edit something, if I want to edit an episode of the podcast, I personally keep my phone away from me so that I can completely concentrate. So what are your thoughts on turning off the notifications? And you have already mentioned about the concentration which it increases because of the same.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't know how I didn't think of that because that is something that I do. So iPhones have the different focus features.
Mm-hmm.
So I have mine set to work mode,
Okay.
and I have it set automatically to work mode during the work hours, Monday through Friday. And then I turn it off, or it automatically turns off at a certain time. And that definitely has helped me a lot as well, because then it just won't come up on the screen at all. And of course, you can open your phone and go in and see the notifications manually. So it's, there's still ways around it, like with the apps as well. Although it definitely has helped me a lot. So I do recommend, I don't know if Androids have it or other phones have it besides the iPhone, but definitely recommend setting up that feature if your phone has a feature like that where you can choose which apps to have on or off for notifications during the workday.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, and I didn't knew that Apple has that feature. And personally,
Hmm.
I haven't used the Apple phone as well, so that's the reason I wouldn't know about it. But
Yeah.
Android doesn't have that feature, but it has features where you can turn off the notification. So I believe that's what I do on a regular basis. However, this all we talked about the technological aspects of productivity, but there are certain more areas where social media impact us on our productivity. Like, for example, okay, what most of the people nowadays are doing, especially in India, I don't know about America, because influencers are gaining so much success. People moreover trying to become influencers on Instagram and TikTok, okay, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but because they want to do that, they are actually forgetting about the things which they should be doing. Okay, so let's say if a guy, I mean the school kids over here, okay, during their exams, they are busy creating a video for Instagram reel. Okay, so and other than that, there are many other people who are getting influenced like that to become the influencer or to become a celebrity figure on Instagram. And nowadays they are distributing blue ticks as well for some reason. So what would you like to suggest to all those people who are getting influenced into becoming something that they are not, and in the process they are forgetting about what are those things which they need to do in their regular lives?
Well, I would say, what are the things that they should be doing? And how do you know they should be doing them?
Yeah, for example, as I mentioned that
Or how do you know if they're not doing them?
yes, so that's a very good point. So I did encounter two or three kids, okay. They didn't pass the examination, okay, and they have like these long hairs and everything that a normal Instagram reeler would have. I mean, that's also fine. But when I asked them, like, dude, what happened? Like, why aren't you studying? Because you just got 30 marks out of 100, and which is not going to secure your future. And I have been a teacher as well. I take classes on C programming, Java programming, and everything for school students
Mhm.
as well as for college students. And when I asked them that, why aren't you interested in this, because these are some college degrees which you need to have, especially in India, because without a degree in India, you are not going to get a good job, okay. And this thing which you are doing, it does not guarantee success, so at least study for the sake of having a backup, okay. And then what they say is that during these times, during the exam, they were busy creating Instagram reels, and they have like 1500 followers, and they always have to be on Instagram live, and they always, like, every day they have to create one reel. So this is how I found out that students who should be studying, okay, at that age, okay, at the age where their parents have invested money as well, and personally they were interested in those subjects, but just because they got influenced by someone, and now they just want to change that field, and which is fine, but at the same time they are not having the backup of creating a career for themselves.
Okay, yeah. So what's coming to mind is history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, TikTok or Reels is the context, but 10, 20, or 30 years ago, what were the kids doing back then that was distracting? Maybe it was a supermodel, maybe it was a movie star,
Hmm.
maybe it was a singer.
Hmm.
There's always, maybe it was an astronaut and I want to go to the moon, and that's a distraction for them.
Right.
So I believe that we as society, as people, have always faced the same problems. It's just as our world evolves, the problems look different. But at the end of the day, we're still the same humans. We still have the same core needs. We still have the same, human error. We still have the same dopamine chase, right? That those things that we seek out and how our brains work. And, I think that's why when you look at content, for lack of a better word, from
Mhm.
Plato and Aristotle and Socrates and all of these things that they used to say still hold true and are still very relatable, because as a species, I think, and how we operate, we're very similar. It's just we've become advanced, so our problems show up in more advanced ways.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't think this is a new problem that kids are distracted or anybody's distracted from doing what they need to be doing, like studying and passing school. It's just, how do we continue to make them believe and demonstrate to them that school is what's more important, or their future is what's more important than these other distractions that they're facing?
Wonderfully said. And what about the distractions, okay, which leads to overthinking, okay? Because what happens is sometimes when we look at a particular person on Instagram, we tend to think that, oh my God, how successful he or she is. At this age, I haven't done anything, but he or she has done some great things. And what is she doing? Like, she's just creating 30-second, 1 minute reel or a TikTok video, and I haven't done anything in my life. And then there is an overthinking process. What if I want to do that? But that again is an overthinking and without any action. So, what would you suggest them as far as overthinking is concerned, where they have a feeling of less self worth?
Yeah, that's a deeper rooted issue. And studies have shown that there are more people experiencing that today, again, than there were 10, 15 years ago. So I'm not trying to say that social media hasn't created more problems or hasn't had a bigger influence on us. There's definitely more people that are experiencing those negative thoughts and feelings. So I do want to acknowledge that. Um, as far as what can they do about it, that kind of differs by age and maturity level and ability to intellectually think and be introspective. So I would say for adults, good questions to ask yourself might be, what am I hoping to find, or what am I hoping to get out of escaping my reality through using social media? Um, I would start there or lean into maybe why do I not want to, or rather than saying why, it's better to say for what reason. For what reason am I seeking distractions, or for what reason am I resisting being productive?
Hmm.
And for kids or for students, I would maybe ask yourself, what is it about this person or these people or this group or this thing that I hope to embody, or that I look up to, or that I admire?
Hmm.
And then look at yourself and look at how you already do have some of those qualities, or how you can maybe build upon some traits that you already have to grow into those qualities. And of course, you want to focus on the positive qualities that somebody has, not the negative qualities somebody has. So really just to any degree that you can get to a deeper reasoning for why you're drawn to that thing, whether it's out of escapism or whether it's out of admiring it,
Wonderful.
so that you can redirect yourself and pursue whatever you want to pursue in a more meaningful way.
That's wonderfully said, and I completely agree with that. However, I just want to let the audience know that I'm not here to crib about social media. Okay, so I am going to ask you this as well, that social media over here is of course not bad. Okay, like, but it influences us in such a way that we use it in such a way that it influences us. Okay, so in this documentary film as well, I watched it around 2 or maybe 3 years back, and it was launched during that time only, that you have to follow both the sides of people as well. Okay, like when you follow just one set of people who are doing something, okay, you definitely are getting influenced towards that side, and you don't know the entire story of the other side as well. So always try to follow these both people, and you can get to know the entire story, and then you are not getting negatively influenced about anything, right? So I think that one thing which would matter the most as well. However, coming back to the topic, the impact of social media which we have on productivity. So normally what happens, Lena, that I have personally experienced this as well. When we have a phone in our hand, okay, and when, let's say, in the morning I have posted a picture of mine on Instagram, and throughout the day I'll make sure that I watch my phone every 2 minutes just to see whether a new like has come or not, right? Or maybe
Mm-hmm.
after 10 minutes, or maybe sometimes half an hour, but I'm really eager to watch if someone has liked my photos or not, right? So even that is one kind of a thing which is happening, like our mind is trained. Although there is no notification, we still want to unlock our phones, go into that app and check for the notifications again. Okay, so if if you would like to share some light on that as well, like how that mindset can be shifted, although it's a difficult process. I mean, me and you sitting over here cannot change the mindset, but those who are listening to this might add some values in their lives with this tips which you are giving.
Yeah. So the problem here to me doesn't have to do with productivity, it has to do with self-worth.
Hmm.
Because typically the reason that you're drawn to seeing how many likes you're getting, that equates to admiration. How many people are admiring me? How many people are, um, you know, confirming my popularity or contributing to saying that I look nice or that I'm attractive.
Hmm.
And, that's what a like or a comment would contribute to.
Okay.
So if you have a level of self worth that comes mostly or 100% from within, then you wouldn't be seeking to constantly check on the external validation for that.
Hmm.
So I think that just comes down to self worth, which on the surface can present itself as a productivity issue or a distraction or a focus issue. But deep down, I mean, it's definitely self-worth. And when social media first came out, when I was in middle school and high school, I was very eager to look at my likes. That was an age where you're very susceptible to external influence. And so now as an adult, I don't treat it the same way that I did then. So it's also a coming of age thing.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I would still say self worth. And it's interesting because this is where it all kind of comes together. in a big circle that everything influences each other. So if you are lacking self-worthiness, it can lead to you spending time in the wrong places, which can lead to you not being productive. So none of these things operate in silos. Everything is interconnected. And when you work on yourself and try to develop habits or put systems in place for yourself to be more productive and to be less distracted and to be more focused, it will help you in other areas of life as well, and will help you as a whole to be a better person, or vice versa. If you keep choosing to be distracted and to feed into patterns that are not going to serve you, then that's going to be more present in your mind throughout your day, throughout your life, and it's going to have a long-term, more negative impact on you. So every choice you make and every decision you make every day is either going to contribute to more positive, in a more positive way, to being a better version of yourself, a better worker,
Mm-hmm.
or it's going to contribute to you creating more distractions in your life. So, every choice, even a small one, because like I said, everything is interconnected, will contribute to one of those two ends of the spectrum. And you want it to be the one that is going to be positive and serve you and help you.
Wonderfully said. So self-worth directly contributing towards productivity, I believe, because once you have your own self-worth, you are not going to look at your phone and seek for external validation. So that's wonderfully explained, Elena, and I really agree to that. And 100%, I'm sure the audience are with us right now. However,
Mm-hmm.
Elena, till now, what we were doing is we were actually talking about the negative impacts of social media which we have on productivity. But I believe that those things which have negative impact, they do have positive impacts as well. So what are your thoughts on it? Like, does it have any positive impacts on productivity specifically?
Okay. Yeah, I do think it does, because there's so many things. As a whole, having more self-worth just creates more certainty in your life, less second guessing or less questioning yourself. So I have a lot of colleagues and even a lot of friends that question and second guess everything. And when that happens, that means that you are going to spend a lot of time dwelling and thinking about if you should have or could have acted differently, or if you should or could act differently in the future.
Hmm.
And having that sense of self-worth, you are more grounded in knowing that, you know, you do the best that you can and you act in the best that you can, and you don't have all that cloudiness in your brain and second guessing and questioning. And so you're able to not only save that time, also you can live a lot more stress free.
Hmm.
And that in itself helps with productivity a lot, because there's good and bad stress, but I'm talking about bad stress here. And that definitely prevents you from focusing, because when you're really stressed, you're just consumed with the stress and the anxiety of it that you actually can't get things done. So, yeah, self-worth and just overall being more confident who you are in your interactions and how you treat people definitely has an exponential impact on your productivity, because you're able to just move forward and execute so much more clearly without having to stop or ask somebody else their opinion or ask for advice if this is the right thing. You just do it and you just make things happen.
Wow, that's wonderful. I believe there is one more thing in the place of productivity. If we are talking about that, we can actually find mentors on social media, because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there is LinkedIn, which is also a social media platform. Okay, and on which people have found mentors for their career growth as well. And because they found mentors, they took very less time to get success as well. Okay, and very less time to get out of the phase of failure as well, because when they failed, they kind of got disheartened, but because of their mentors, they came back and they really fought back and then gained success as well. So I believe that having mentors as well, it's really amazing, and it's really fulfilling as well. And I believe there are certain people which you can follow, like for example, you can follow Elena Pastore on Instagram, and she's also going to do an NLP program, which I just found out, but she has been doing it from past 2 or 3 years. Okay. And you can also follow this podcast, okay, which on which I bring like lots and lots of experts who you know go on and discuss about different topics which adds values in people's lives. So I believe that also adds a value in productivity of any individual. uh yeah, thank you so much, Alina, for sharing that. And I believe with self-worth, having mentors and having good companions, I believe there is a good part of social media as well, a good impact of social media as well. So it's not all bad impacts, but it's also the good impacts of social media which we might have in productivity. Any, like, we are almost on the verge of ending this episode, but any lasting message on this particular topic which you would like to give, and for the entire season as well?
Yeah. Well, you just reminded me of something, which is that nothing is binary and you can use social media to be productive at the same time, whether it's finding a mentor, like you mentioned. And there are actually a couple of people that I follow on social media that talk about productivity and that share productivity tips. And so I've actually learned some productivity tips from social media. So again, just to reiterate, it's not about the thing itself, whether it's not about the distraction itself, whether it's social media or TV or anything else. It's about how you use it, right? So if you use social media as a distraction, it will be. If you use it as a tool to get access to resources and knowledge and mentors and productivity tips, then it will help you be more productive. So it's really about how you use it. Of course, that's not how most people use it. And that's not what its main intention is for, but it can be used in that way. So that's what I'll say about this episode. And just about the season in general. It's been great to, we covered a lot of really different topics related to productivity. So it's been really great to cover a lot of different ground in regards to this topic because it really is such a big and robust topic and it's very hard to master. I don't know if there's anybody that's really truly mastered it. It's something that I think everybody is always trying to work on. And so hopefully we've offered a lot of different perspectives on different elements of productivity for our listeners so they can all find something that applies to them and that will work for them in their life.
Wonderfully said, Elena. And of course, we have covered a lot of topics related to productivity, but I still believe that it's not covered even 50%, I would say, because there are so much more aspects to it as well, right? So I believe that once this season gets completed, the new season will come. But I believe that this particular topic in each and every individual should continue, and as you rightly mentioned, that people should make sure that they are constantly working on productivity, and rather than just saying that, what, I'm not going to do it, I'm already perfect, and all these things.
Mhm.
We have to remove
Mhm.
that phrases, and make sure that we constantly work on it. So very well done, Elena. You have shared some great tips, so thank you so much for doing that. uh Audience, yes, this is the season finale ending, and but this is not the end yet, because the very new season is going to come out very shortly, and I'm going to tell you about it, so don't worry. Till the time, what you can do is you can listen to the bonus episodes which I'm going to promote, and also what you can do is you can download the book which I have published, an ebook. With that being said, if you feel that this episode and this podcast and this season has added value in your life, then make sure to share it with your loved ones. This is Aditya Mehta along with Elena Pastore signing off from this episode. See you in the next one. Till then, peace out.